Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat tonight. What you're about to see is Duel number 2. That's right, 57 laps. Cautions are on, 0 resets, green, white checkers in effect. We are at speed weather here in preparation for the Mrs. Dockside 500. You are watching LSRTV and Pros League Racing. That's right, Professional Racing Online Series drivers. The first duel was a doozy. $50 on the line. $50 to the winner of each duel. There are 2 duels. The first winner of the first duel was Mr. Mark Moffitt. Did a spectacular job, winning by 9 thousandths of a second. Whoa! The entire race was competitive, nose to tail, bumping, grinding, side drafting going on, but such professionalism and skill going on by the Pros League Racing folks. I tell you what, there was only one caution during that last duel race, and it was because of a technical difficulty. Not a single crash out there. Great racing in the first duel. Can't wait to see what we have in store for this one. Nick, tell us about our top 10 drivers that'll be starting off this second duel. Stand by for those top 10 drivers in the booth with us tonight. We have Tim, that's me. We've got Nick. He will be giving us some technical expertise as Nick is a driver in iRacing. And along with us on pit lane, we have Mr. Justin Fight bringing the action to us, telling us all about the changes that are going to be going on to the cars. How you doing tonight, Justin?
I'm doing awesome there, Tim. Something quick things to look at here as we're getting ready to go take the warm-up laps for this race. Pit stops, very crucial with pit stops, especially if they're under green. You want to make sure you get down to the pit road speed, leave it's 55 miles an hour. If you go too fast, you got to come back through for a stop and go. Plus, making sure you have your drafting partner, that's something that you're going to have to be keeping in mind as well. The strategy here is going to be most trucks are going to be taking 2 tires, maybe on the left side, depending on the wear. You're definitely going to be taking gas. This is going to be possibly a good one-stop race. Probably about 30 to 34 laps is when that window's going to happen. Fuel mileage is going to be crucial. So tandems and all that stuff, everybody down here is already talking with some other drivers, and they're definitely wanting to get some teamwork so they can push to the front.
Justin, this is Talladega. It is a long track. It takes a while to get around this thing, almost a minute, 50 something seconds, right, to get around this track. It is a doozy of a track, and you can only push your partner for so long. If you're going to go race nose to tail, and you're the pusher, your truck's going to heat up eventually, and you're going to have to make a switch. So where drivers make that switch, whether it be entering into the corner, middle of the corner, when they exit the corner, it's going to play a role in their positioning on the track. So do keep an eye on that throughout the duration of this duel as folks battle out these strategies. Again, this is a 57 lap feature, $50 to the winner. Lots of great racing action here tonight, brought to you by LSR TV. Folks, if you have a racing event or any other internet sporting event that you would like to go on air, visit LSR TV and find out more about how you could televise to a broad internet audience in 1080p. Some great coverage and fantastic commentary, if I might say so myself. That's right, LSR TV, and you are watching Pros League Racing. That's Professional Racing Online Series. Such a great group of racers. If you're looking for a team to join up with, a league to be involved with, visit www.pros-league.com and click on Join Pros. Fill out the registration form to find out more. In just a few short minutes, we're going to be ready for some green flag action out on the track. Now, earlier they went ahead and went through their qualifying procedures to find out who's going to start where for this 57 lap feature. This is the second heat race in preparation for the 500 race that's going to happen on later on in the week. This is the Mrs. Dockside 500 brought to us by Realtor Kim Dolan out of Ventura County, California. Thank you so much for your sponsorship in this. Kim Dolan, if you need a piece of real estate in California, call 805-341-4495. Kim Dolan, that's right. Such a great effort here. Great supporting of ProsLeagueRacing.com.
We look forward to some great racing.
Money. Thursday night beer money. Truck Series attempt to qualify for free. $15 entry fee. 100% payback. Payback based on amount of entries at ProsLeague.com.
Look forward to some great racing here tonight. The first duels came down to 1/1000th of a second, 9/1000th of a second finish. Photo finish. Great finish by Mark. We're coming up here in just a few minutes before we get the field underway here to get started with our second duels for our exciting 57 laps. Looking forward to seeing the new strategies and partnerships as this race unwinds and folds out to a $50 prize package.
We've got a driver change here. What you're seeing on screen as George Bark is actually Jay Anderson. George Bark 2 is Jay Anderson. So, as you are keeping track of the race tonight, do remember that as we call the action here at Talladega Super Speedway. I'm telling you, if it's going to be anything like the first race that we saw, you're going to see a tremendous amount of professionalism here. That first race was some hard racing action. Really exciting, but people didn't do anything dirty. They weren't putting folks into the wall. Folks knew how to push their drivers very well. It's great action on the track. The pace car is away, and we are rolling the tires along the front stretch at Talladega Super Speedway.
Great action planned here tonight for everyone. Leading the front row here on the pole position, the number 85 in Dylan Rowe. On the outside pole in the number 27 truck, Gary Bauer. Row number 2, number 16 on the inside, Philip Carsley. On the outside of him in the number 69 truck, Dale Smalley. Right behind them on the inside, number 18, Jay Anderson. On the outside of him on the 33 truck, Travis Brown. Next row back in the 62 truck, William Hale. And on the outside of William, we've got the truck number 53, Stephen Earp. And number 9, rounding out the top 10 row here, number 64 truck, Seal. And number 10, and the number 2 truck, Travis McNutt.
I tell you, I think Dylan Rowe and Gary Bauer might have some type of an agreement here to work together at the start of this race. You know, sometimes these drivers will communicate privately and say, hey, listen, I'm going to go as soon as the pace car leaves, or I'm going to wait 1/100th of a second or whatever it is after the pace car leaves, or I'm going to say half of a Mississippi and then go. And so when they make that communication, the driver on the outside knows, hey, I can drop in down low and tuck in right behind him and get just a bit of a lead here at the beginning of the race. You don't know what's going to happen during that first corner. There could be a lot of carnage. So you want to make sure you're out of the way, especially if you're up front. Justin, tell us what we can expect on pit road here tonight.
Well, first thing I want to briefly go over what's happened in practice, just kind of looking over the lap.
Oh, hang on. We're going green. 1 second, Justin. We'll get right back to you. The pace car is in. I apologize. We have one more lap to go of pacing. They are lined up, waiting for the green flag. We are at green flag action. They are on the throttle, lined up, good to go side by side. Nothing drastic yet. No one jumping down to claim the bottom side or the high side. Pretty content with where we are right now as we enter into turn 1.
2 wide, nose to tail as the leaders come out at turn 2, reaching down the backstretch. We've got number 85, Dylan, out front leading. Still a long way to go. All the drivers are going to start looking for their partners here. Looks like the outside's got the run. Down the backstretch they come. 27 on the outside there.
So far, I don't see anyone who is off the pace. They are all right there in that main group. But what we might see here in the first couple of laps develop, some folks may drop to the back in hopes of avoiding the big one that almost always happens here at Talladega.
If it's anything like the Duels race previously, it was nice and clean, and hopefully we'll see a nice clean finish and close photo finish as last time. So far, field very spread out. Leaders still up front there as looks like the 27 gets a shove on the high side, nose to tail with the 69. 87 still on the inside.
That's right. Mark Moffitt done a great job during the last race, taking home the victory, and $50. That's right, $50 to the race winner of each one of these duels. Expect to see some good competition here. This is not just for fun. This is not just for pride. This is for hard dollar money. Real dollars, not virtual dollars. Real $50 prize on the line. Justin, as we negotiate the end of lap 2, tell us what we can expect on pit strategies tonight.
Big things to expect here on the pit strategies is going to be fuel. Fuel is going to be crucial here. We have about 57 laps, so it should be a one-stop race. Being able to save the gas, especially in the tandem and the pack racing, you're going to be able to conserve a little bit, but you're still going to have to come in. That's going to be something you're really going to have to focus on. Second thing is going to be making sure your engine's going to be able to last. Keeping the engine cool, being tucked up underneath another truck is going to overheat a little bit. So you want to be able to manage all your equipment real well for this race. It's a long race. At the same time, you want to be able to get up front and stay up here and avoid any big wrecks. That's my big focus for this race. When they come down to pit road, better watch out for 2-tire stops possibly. Maybe left sides to get something to get long enough to get gas and get out. That way they can get back and hopefully win that $50.
Folks, keep an eye on Jay Anderson there. He's doing a great job staying in position and slowly moving up through the field, starting in 5th position at the beginning of this race, slowly moving up, ready to strike if the opportunity is there. I am seeing some great pack racing here. Nick, tell us what's going on in the minds of these leaders up front.
Right now, Tim, all the drivers are thinking about is just making it last. Plenty of time to go here, and a lot can happen very quickly. Got to make sure you have a truck that can make it to the end with all the fenders on it. We got a new leader, the 18 of Jay Anderson, out front, pushed by the 33. Jay Anderson and Travis Brown hooked up, looking really strong early run here, coming out of 4 as they make their way down the front stretch into the trial.
You know, I see that bottom line kind of taking off. No one's really ventured up to take a risk on that high side. We see 3 tandems up there on the high side trying to make something happen, but it just hasn't taken hold yet. You know, Nick, part of the reason is if you want to move up on that high side, you've got to pinch the bottom row. But first, you got to trust the drivers that are on the bottom row and know what to expect from them. Because if you're trying to move up towards the front, you don't want to get door dinged by that inside line if they should bobble up to the top there. You know, just as we're having this conversation, everybody kind of jumped up to the top there saying, hey, I think I'll give it a shot. It's pretty empty up here.
Yeah, everyone's trying to do the side drafting early, feeling comfortable, seeing how the truck's going to react in the air.
Oh, we got a
wreck.
wreck. Oh, the
13 is
13.
spinning.
Oh,
We
man,
collected
what a
the
wreck.
17. Wow.
Boy,
Huge
howdy, that
wreck.
was a doozy.
Oh, and they're still spinning. It looks like that was about a 4-car chaos there between the 53, the 07, the 13, just a few that I caught a glimpse of.
Huge wreck. Are we going to cut back there with the replay here coming up shortly?
All right, I'm watching this here, and this 07 and the 13 made some contact, and we also had a little bit of damage on the right front of the 62 and of the 53. That's 5 cars involved in this, definitely, for sure. We'll see the replay here in a second. But didn't look like it was on purpose or malicious or anything, just hard racing, close contact there. And when these cars make contact going 180 miles per hour, it's really hard to maintain control.
Yeah, right. Absolutely right, Tim. Looking back at the 13, he was definitely mirror driving. All the drivers do a great job at mirror driving, and it looks like he just timed it just a little too short. The 07 had a huge run up the middle and just kind of clipped him there in the left rear quarter panel and turned him sideways and collected a bunch of good trucks here early on.
Timing is everything here, Nick. You got to make sure you know where the cars are around you. It's much more difficult when you're in the cockpit there doing the driving to make those split-second decisions, because you don't want to fall out of the draft. You want to tuck in and get where you're supposed to be, or else you'll fall back, straight to the back of the line, and you don't want that to happen, but you also don't want to wreck your fellow racer. So again, that did not look like it was a poor decision, or it was someone maliciously wrecking another driver. It was good competition on the track. Could have been even a little bit of net code there. Sometimes with the iRacing series here, the computer simulation will predict what might happen, and that ends up being what does happen on the track. I am seeing some chatter here, some apologies going on here, so some folks do feel like maybe they were responsible for some of the carnage on the track, but such a great team of folks here. Hey, Justin, tell us, this is kind of a kink in our pit strategy. So if I'm competing for the win here, $50, do I pit here? Is there any advantage for me to pit right now?
No, it's a little too early for it, really. From my experience, especially at plate racing here, I mean, you've only got about 7 laps. So right now you're going to be able to conserve a little bit more, which is going to actually play out in the long run, especially if we go green. Some of the trucks right now, they're probably turning their engines off, popping the clutch, making sure there's trying to save as much fuel as possible to make sure they don't burn anything off. They're staying low, as you can tell. That's another great fuel strategy to go there. Some people on the apron. Now that there's a few trucks that possibly be out, I know they've seen a couple of them dropping out there, taking an exit out of the trucks. Sad break for the Kodak truck there. I think it was the, let's see here, let me look, 72 I believe it was. But I mean, it was pretty crazy how that wreck happened, and it's sad to see a race going from last week, how much more pressure maybe some of the people will put on themselves just from here.
Justin, I've run Talladega a time or two myself in the iRacing series, both on public servers and also the private leagues. And I can tell you there is no shock like the shock of just driving along, following the guy in front of you, and then all of a sudden your wheel jolts to the side because something happened around you and suddenly a race car got into you. I mean, there's nothing you can do there. It's not about your talent level, your skill level. It's just, bam, somebody has just ended your night. It's not really your fault. It's just the luck of the draw sometimes at Talladega. And we see that on TV. When we see the NASCAR series do their racing on TV, we see the same thing. Folks doing the right thing, then suddenly they're just taken out of competition because, some unfortunate event happens. That's part of the great thing at Talladega. Never know what we're going to expect next, do we, Nick?
Not at all, Tim, and we just got the one to go. Lights are off on the pace car as they line them up to file here. We do have a few damaged trucks back in the field there. Running 11th, number 96, Ronnie Smith, unfortunately got caught up with a little bit of damage from that incident, and with a few other trucks as well. Hopefully we'll get the nice long green flag run here and let him sort himself out.
Nick, is anybody a lap down yet?
As of right now, everyone is still on the lead lap. The last truck appears to be in 23rd, 07. Looks like he did sustain a lot of damage. He was the yellow truck in the middle that got caught up into that. A lot of heavy damage. Don't think he's going to be able to recover from that one.
Man, that's unfortunate. Up front, Jay Anderson right now on the inside of row 1, and on the outside is Travis Brown. Both of them looking for an opportunity. I don't expect too much hard action at this restart. Right now they're up front. It's good to be up front. They're probably going to work with their partners, maybe work through the interconnecting channels to negotiate deals with other drivers and other teams to say, hey, let's work together at least until the last 10 laps. Probably a good time for negotiating going on right now. Nick, do you think that's actually going on right now on the private channels, some negotiating between teammates?
Absolutely. Now is a perfect time. Everyone's got a chance to breathe, stretch their hands, get a chance to talk clearly, find who they're working with, see who's fast and who really wants to help them out. And hopefully we'll be there with them at the end. Because at the end of the day here, when the laps wind down, you've got to be in position with your partner as the pace car cuts in.
That's right. The pace car is in, and Jay Anderson is leading the field. They're at the ready, and here goes the flagman. We are back to Green flag action here at Talladega Motor Speedway. You are watching LSRTV, and this is Pros League Racing. $50 on the line tonight for the race winner. 50 whole dollar bills. $50 to the winner of this race is on the outside. Travis Brown makes a move to take the lead. Wow, what excitement through 1 and 2, Nick.
The 33 cuts down in front of Jay Anderson cuts down in front of Gary Bauer in the 27 there. He had help there on the outside, and then he decided to cut down, work with his partner he's working with before down the backstretch. They come into 3. The 33 is hooked up with the 18 now. As they make their way into turn 4, they're still 2 wide on back. Looking like the inside may have the run here coming down the front stretch.
That's right, the 18 of Jay Anderson has found himself now pushing the 33 of Travis Brown. Wow, amazing how quickly things change here at this racetrack. This 16 looking for a partner right now. That's Philip Halsey looking for a racing partner. Can't quite find one yet. I think he's going to need to find one before too long, or he may drift towards the back.
Out of turn 2 they come, making their way down the backstretch. Up front, single file on the inside. 4 cars back, we're still side by side. Looks like we've got 2 to 3 trucks on the outside trying to get it done here. Inside still has momentum, making their way into turn 3. We've got the 27 of Gary Bauer out front still, followed by the 69 of Dale.
Now, Jason, tell me, with your experience in the pits here, if I've already got a little bit of damage to my race car, am I going to be up to speed right now? Do I have any chance at winning this thing?
You should have, depending on how bad the damage is. I know this track is pretty big, especially under cautions. You're going to be able to get most of your damage fixed. Most of the time, some of the damage, depending on where it's at on the truck. If it's on the front end, you could overheat quicker. Rumor going down, I know the 07 with all that damage he's got, he's going to have to be worrying. He hit the wall pretty hard with the front end. He may have to be keeping an eye on his temperatures. Something to keep and watch for that as well. But as far as everything goes, something to really keep in mind with.
Jason, with the iRacing engine, and how the simulation works, how much does damage affect these race trucks?
With front end damage, it affects it a lot more than what people realize. The front end damage, when you get the front end damage, you can really mess up how the air goes in through the oil, through the radiator and all that, keeping the engine cool. That's the biggest compartment, especially with the way these trucks are taped up, especially to get that downforce, to be able to get those trucks to squat a little bit more. You get any little dent right there in the wrong spot, your race is going to be done.
Out of 2 they come, single file for the top 13. Looks like back to 13 and 14th, we've got double file racing, nose to tail. Got the 222 on the outside being pushed by the 38. This is a second pack back racing here. Everyone's looking to take it easy here. Want to make sure they're not caught up in a next big one that may come their way and end their night soon.
Justin, if I'm in the lead back here and I am following nose to tail, what kind of tape do I want on my truck? If I'm planning on being a follower during this race, what kind of percentage of tape do I need to be using here?
Well, here from what I'm seeing, you want to be able to have as little as tape as possible. I know with these trucks, they've only got a couple settings, so you want to have something where it's going to allow the airflow to come right into it. I know with the Nationwide cars and the Gen 6 cars, you got the opportunity to actually put more tape on it, and you have a little bit more maneuverability. But with these trucks, you're only limited to a couple of things. If you're pushing, chances are you could probably run maybe a qualifying lap right there towards the end of the race. If there's a late caution, you definitely want to get that thing taped up so you got that speed. You definitely want to make sure you just have enough there that you're going to be able to pull that truck down as quickly as possible, especially if you get any kind of gap when you're with the tandems or the pack.
Nick, there's a lot of action going on in the back of this lead pack here. What are they doing? Trying to jockey for position, switching partners? What's going on back there?
Great question, Tim, as they make their way in to turn number 1 and 2. Looks like drivers are just trying to fill out these other drivers to see who works best. These bumpers don't line up evenly, and so when you get tucked up behind a driver and with their different steering ratios, it can really upset these trucks, and you'll start seeing them bobble around. So right now it looks like drivers are just trying to find who they want to work with. to hopefully have something to compete with here at the end of the race.
You know, it may not seem this way to the spectator, but when you're in these trucks and you're running these races, especially a restrictor plate race on iRacing.com, if you're going to pair up with someone, it's probably best that they have the same driving style that you do. Do they stay on that yellow line around the track? Do they like to kind of arc it in, follow the qualifying line, so to speak? Does your racing partner prefer to race on the outside line, gaining that side draft from the inside drivers? A lot of folks don't feel comfortable doing that, but there's a lot of benefits to gain if you do choose that route. So, like Nick says, they're feeling out their opportunities right now. We've got some time left. We're on lap 15 of this 57 lap feature. What lap should we expect pit stops to happen, Justin?
Well, we are probably about halfway through the run right now on a normal green flag, so probably looking forward to right around lap 34 to 37. With that caution, we had 3 extra laps. Could have saved a few, so look closer to maybe doing a quick stop right there with about 10 to 15 to go.
Now, in preparation for these duels that happened, we had qualifying time trial sessions that were held on Friday, June 6th. And again on Monday, June 9th, they were held, and they determined who was going to start where for these dual races.
On the outside, the number 16 getting a huge run on the outside, help from the 23. Looks like they're going to keep driving into turn 3, coming out of turn 4. Number 16, Philip Carfley's got a good-looking truck on the outside with help. He should be able to clear the leader at this rate, getting into 1 here.
I tell you, Philip Carsley just kind of hung back there for a second until he got a great pusher behind him. And if he can get enough confidence and trust in those cars on the bottom line, they might be able to make a play for the front, but it looks like his pusher just ran out of time. Folks, these trucks will heat up immensely, especially if you're doing the pushing, and it looks like that exchange did not work out well for them.
Boy, that was a close call. The 16 did try to come down a little early to try to get back behind his drafting partner. Did not realize he was 3 wide with a truck underneath him. Looks like he did sustain just a little bit of left rear quarter panel damage from that contact, but both drivers did a great job of wheeling it and keeping it straight.
$50 to the winner of this 57 lap feature. This is the second duel of 2 in preparation for the Mrs. Dockside 500 occurring later on at Talladega Super Speedway. That's right. During the Mrs. Dockside 500, the winner is guaranteed $500. Wow. Want the money? Come and get it. Mrs. Dockside 500.
Out of turn 2 they come. We've got the 38 getting a little swirly from getting a shot in the back from the 222. Still having the run on the outside. Down the backstretch they come. Coming up strong on the lead lap here. Or coming up on some lap down traffic, it looks like. We have the 13 of Danny, 2 laps down. Looking like he's going to stay high.
That's right, I see him staying high here. Hopefully nothing tricky happens. Sometimes these lead lap cars have to jump up high to avoid the inside. Hopefully there's not any carnage here as the first leaders pass without any event at all. Great professionalism by our lapped cars. You see them both getting high here and out of the way as our lead pack negotiates the turn.
Great racing going on so far for the lead. We've got straight single file racing trucks nose to tail here. Looks like everyone's taking it pretty easy right now. There's not a whole lot of shoving going around. Everyone realizes still a long way to go. Want to make sure that they have something for the end of this race as they drive it into 3. Looks like we have a switch going on. 38 dropping back behind his partner in the 222. Inside row's got the huge run coming down the front stretch.
Justin, if I'm having problems with my handling at this point, like maybe I'm not good behind the driver in front of me, is there anything I can do when I make my pit stop to make my ride a little bit more pleasant?
Well, usually the way they have this races set up, they will actually have to keep mechanically wise everything the same. But as far as maybe tires, you can maybe do a couple tire changes on your right side that can maybe free it up a little bit. gas definitely is going to have a factor when, especially when it weighs down the back. But usually when you get into speedways like this, you want to keep what you got, because the longer the race, the more that truck's going to come in. And when you get working with somebody, you get used to them, everything works out for the good.
That's right, and don't forget, folks, here on iRacing.com, the simulation is so precise that if the car in front of you has some type of mechanical problem, or if they run through the grass or something like that, that means your windshield's going to get dirty, and you ain't going to be able to see out of it very well. The simulation is that precise. You feel every bump in the track, laser scanned track, so precise that actual NASCAR drivers are members at iRacing.com, and they get on the track to learn these tracks even better than they do to practice some and to race with their friends and teammates on iRacing.com. On the outside, we've got a tandem making a play for the lead. Who is that, Nick?
22, Nick Gale's looking pretty strong with the help behind him. Number 38 truck. Looks like the inside, though, did get the run going here. Down the front stretch they come, making their way into the tri-oval.
Now we have a few folks who have fallen behind the lead pack here. We've got Scott Brinson and Brian Cross, too, who are hanging back in a two-car tandem, just about 3 seconds behind our lead pack. They are far enough back, though, that if there's a problem up front, they should be able to avoid it. And they're also close enough that if they wanted to, they could probably catch this lead pack.
Here's a really interesting stat, guys, as we're getting ready to come out of turn, go right there in the middle of 3 and 4. 9/10 of a second was separating the first 12 cars. This racing is so tight. One little mistake is going to make it all go crazy. And it looks like we're getting some pit stops coming in right here. Looks like we got about 4 or 5 cars.
Outstanding, Justin. I did not expect that to happen so early at just lap 22. Let's follow this action and see what happens with our race leaders that just took a pit stop. Side-by-side action up front is the two-car tandems we've got going on. One on the inside, one on the outside. Looks like our outside members are winning right now. George Bark with a tremendous truck tonight. What's going on in the pits, Justin?
Well, it looks like some drivers are getting right side tires and gas and fueling up. From what I'm seeing from those guys, they're on their way back out right now. Quick stops, probably not even a 10-second stop. These guys, those crew members are working so fast. It's amazing at the athleticism these guys have.
I suspect these guys will be having some handling issues if they're changing their right side tires, or maybe they got squirrely. Something happened that we don't know about. Perhaps they may have brushed the wall and they're just changing those tires just to make sure, because it would sure not be a good thing if we blew a tire going into one of these turns, would it, Nick?
No, it wouldn't, Tim. And I've actually been in that situation thinking only fuel only is the way to go in the cup car, and ended up cutting a tire right front, blew a right front tire last lap in turn 4, and ended my day from competing in the top 5 and finished in the 20th. So smart move for them, taking tires if they think they had a tire going down or a handling problem. Definitely came in much earlier than we expected, but there was enough of them together. They should be able to pick up their teammates and get a nice draft going here, as the trucks that made it in the pits are about back up to speed coming across the line, getting into one.
Some more pit stops coming through. I see the 96 took 4 tires, so definitely probably had a lot of wear and tear on that last run. Definitely want to make sure when you're setting these trucks up, just like in NASCAR, you want to make sure you have your cambers, your air pressures, everything just right. So when you get out there, you got the right amount of grip, the right amount of contact patch, everything to make these trucks be able to go fast, especially in the race conditions where you're overcast, and we call this the speed weather. So you definitely want to be able to have as much mechanical grip as possible, something to watch for as well later in the race.
Now remember, folks, in position 5 right now, the number 38, which is listed as George Bark 2, is actually Jay Anderson. Now he's doing really good up front here, but he does not have a partner, or it does not appear that he has a partner, because that 3-car tandem in front of him just hooked up, and he's got someone pitting in front of him, and he is not a part of that team. You definitely want to have a partner when you start to pit, so he's going to try and scoot up closer to those guys right in front of him. Hopefully he can time it so he pits together with someone so he can be back in the mix when we get back to synchronized racing and the pit stops have been completed.
Into turn one they go. The 96 was a little off pace, showing a lap down, trying to tuck in behind the lead pack. We've got the 42 truck out front, powered by 85, pushing them. A lot of trucks making their way back onto the track here from their pit stops as they make their way down into turn 3.
One thing that I noticed exciting down there is when the driver overshot his pit stop, the number 7 truck, Logan Cochran, overslid and had a backup, and that actually cost him valuable time. I believe his partner got out a little bit earlier than he is, and he was gone before he even had a chance to catch up to him.
Now you may notice these folks pulling off into the pits in a 2-car duo type situation. So when that happens, one car will commit to going low, and the other car will commit to going kind of a low-high scenario. So that should they not gauge their braking accurately, they don't run right into each other. There's a little bit of give and take space there. That's why you see them break off so far away, and then that next car, usually the following car, will take that high side when they enter into the pits.
It looks like George Bark, the number 42, is running in the top 2 positions, actually overshot his pit stall and had to back up again. That could prove to be very costly for him as well, guys.
That's majorly costly, Justin. He's not going to be able to recover from that. That's at least a 5 to 6 second penalty just by default, having to back your car up like that. What do you think, Nick? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, especially when these tires get hot and greasy, it's very easy to slide through your pit stop. And going back and looking at that, it took them about 2 or 3 times to get it in just right. You've got to be in your pit box, otherwise NASCAR will not allow your crew over the wall to work on it. Definitely heartbreaking for him, seeing how he was out front.
Now keep in mind, folks, here on iRacing.com, many of the professional series here on the oval tracks, they are sanctioned by NASCAR. So the rules for even our League Series events are very similar, if not exactly like what you would see in NASCAR. This simulation is meant to be exact, precise, to the real deal, so that folks like you and me, we can enjoy this side-by-side racing, awesome competition day in and day out through the wonders of technology.
You're absolutely right, Tim. It's a very exciting game to participate in. Some call it a simulation. Real pro drivers use it for practice. Making their way down the backstretch here, the top 9 drivers have made their way back together through the cycles of pit stops. 2 wide, getting into turn 3 and the 4. Looks like the inside still has a decent run here. 85 is a little swirly on the outside here on the 222's bumper. Looks like he's hooked back up, and they've got the run getting into the tri-oval. Single file behind the top 4 drivers there. Looks like they're just playing it safe. Still have a lot of laps to go.
This just in, Eric Wilson is the driver of the 38. That's right, Eric Wilson is the driver of the 38. Had to do a little bit of switching around here. That's okay. Now we know who is where. Here for the second duel in preparation for the Mrs. Dockside 500 on LSRTV.
Well, 38 is in for his pit stop. Also looks like a 4-tire change. Justin, can you confirm that?
I am watching he's coming right now. So he is coming down. The 38's looking like he came out. Does look like he got just right sides.
Right side tires. Strategy definitely makes a difference here. 4-tire stop would keep you longer on pit road, and 2 tires sometimes is the way to go, but it looks like he came in by himself.
Yes, he did.
Nick, Justin, we have got 8 cars side by side racing down the backstretch, just coming out of turn 2. Those guys were lined up. When they get that way, there's a tremendous amount of speed to be gained so that they can break away from the rest of the field. They've kind of dispersed from that now, but man, there for about half a lap, they were close in together, and that does wonders for both gas mileage and speed on this monster speedway.
The men on the move right now is back in 10th and 11th. We've got the 33 of Travis Brown being pushed by Jay Anderson in the 18 trunk. They're definitely running down that lead pack. It looks like they're keeping it just out of reach in case something has a problem. Into turn 1 they go. 222s out front lead it. Credit to the lead lap for the 222 on the high side here, getting you some help from the 85.
You know, the real talent here, you know, not taking anything away from the car in the lead, but the pusher. The pusher is the one that's determining how fast that car in front is going to go, and the pusher of the 222 is the 85 of Dylan Rowe. Doing a great job staying right there on the bumper. You can't bumble too much when you're doing the pushing, right? Because you've only got a certain amount of time until your truck overheats. You're right there on the bumper. There's no fresh air getting in there into your grill to cool down your engine. So make the most of the time you have as a pusher. Push well and stay steady and centered as much as possible right behind that guy you're pushing.
Still with over 20 laps to go, a lot still can happen and unfold here at these restrictor plate tracks. Your partner really has to keep an eye up, make sure he's not overheating his partner's engine too much. There'll be a lot of swapping going down, and it's very important to do it at the right time. Right now we're seeing with these lead pack 2x2 clear back to 8th. No room for switching, so we've got gaps off the bumpers to try to help cool those engines down as they make their way down the front stretch into the trioval.
Want the money? Come and get it. The Mrs. Dockside 500. That's $500 to win, $10 to start. Guaranteed at Talladega Speedway. $15 entry fee at prosleague.com if you're interested.
We just had a switch going into turn 2. The 222 went high, made it 3 wide to let his partner by. Going to fall back in line here to the tail end of the lead pack. See how the action unfolds as they make their way down the backstretch into turn 2. We've got a huge run on the outside with the 27 being pushed by the 69.
Also, a special thank you to TSB Loss Control Consultants. Thank you for your sponsorship at prosleagueracing.com.
23 is getting the run on the inside, pushing by the 16.
Guys, I was looking at the lap times these guys have been running, just to give you a quick view of how fast these guys are doing. This track is 2.66 miles, and they're doing it in 51 seconds. That's amazing speeds, approximately 180 all the way through this, all over this track. Amazing
3 wide.
stuff.
Coming out of turn 4, looking to the high side, we've got great action, pushed by the 222s, pushing the 85 up on the outside, down the backstretch they come, 3 wide. 3 wide into turn 3. Excellent racing. Everyone giving plenty of room on both sides. Inside, we've got the 23 on the inside, looking like he's got a run, pushed by the 16. High side's losing a little bit of steam here, but not giving up quite yet as they're approaching some lap traffic.
Nick, this is nuts. They are nose to tail. They can't decide if they want to go high or low. We've got one driver trying to decide where he even wants to be right now. Doesn't have a partner, and we are approaching lap traffic, and with us going 3 wide through the corners, there's nowhere for that lap traffic car to go. They're coming in right now. They're closing on him. Where is he going to be?
Yes, it's a very dangerous, sticky situation to be out there. It looks like they've all decided to get on the inside of him. Great job by the lap down traffic, giving the racers plenty of room here to compete.
Folks, if you find yourself in iRacing, a lap down, it is a very courteous move for you to move to the high side. Of course, according to the rules, the first rules in iRacing.com, you don't have to move up high. It is the challenger's job to get around you. You can follow the racing line, but it is extremely courteous, and if you're a lap down, to go ahead and move up to the high side. What we're seeing here today, we're seeing a lot of that, a lot of professionalism by drivers who unfortunately find themselves a lap down, moving to the high side, making room for the leaders and those folks that are on that lead lap.
Out of turn 2 as they make their way down the backstretch. Top 8 trucks, all nose to tails, double files. Great action-packed racing here in the restrictor plate racing. We love to see this type of action. So far, it's been very clean up front. We've got some moves being made way on back there. We've got 2 trucks that are just waiting to pounce, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Still plenty of time to get it done as they're approaching some more lap traffic, getting into the trial.
Nick, I think we have a visitor in the booth here from ProsLeague.com. Hello.
Hey guys, what's up? I just wanted to clue you guys in that we had a little bit of last second entries. That's why you might see my name, George Bark, and George Bark 2, my 2 accounts, and also Nick Giles' account. There are actually some other drivers here that pre-entered at the last second or had an issue as far as getting into the server. But George Bark would be John Corden. George Bark 2, I believe, is Ben Burnett, and under Nick is another racer. I'm not too sure, but I just want to give you guys that update.
Hey, George, thank you so much for coming in and clearing that up for us. We've got some spectators out here that are probably confused because of us saying the wrong name there, so thank you for clearing that up for us. Listen, these guys here at ProsLeague.com are a class act. We've seen already in this race and the duel race that happened before this, excellent competition on the track, very courteous competition, but still exciting. Thanks again, George, for visiting us here in the booth.
Oh, thank you, Tim. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Into turn 2 they go, still too wide, clear to the top 10. Great action going so far. The top outside line getting it done with the move. 27 high side with the 69 pushing them pretty good. Looks like the 27 is going to leave his partner high and dry, cutting down on the inside as the 69 is going to start to drop back.
That's right, Nick. The 69 of Dale Smalley is going to take this on his own. He does not need a pusher at all. Trying to take the high side, and looks like he's going to get squeezed on the inside here. Not necessarily a bad move, especially if he was getting overheated a little bit. We don't know what's going on inside that truck. Only the drivers know as they go 3 wide down this stretch here and entering the corner. Oh, just a little bit of a rub against the 85.
They're
Now we're
wrecking,
spinning.
huge
Oh
wreck.
my word, oh my word. Several cars have been collected. We will show you the replay here shortly, but we were following these racers. Oh my goodness, what a little bit of Dale Smalley. I don't know if you were following him through that wreck or not, but he avoided major contact to his car as they started wrecking in front of him. All right, we're back to the replay here. Let's see if we can see what happened. Nick, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, Tim, it looks like it's just getting down to it. People are starting to run out of patience, and they're no longer giving and taking. And the second place truck was attempting to follow the lead truck to try to push him up. And unfortunately, when he came back down, the 27 got into his bumper just a little bit. It's just a product of close bumper-to-bumper racing here. Unfortunately, it did collect a lot of trucks, including the leader.
Yeah, I'm looking here. It looks like the 27 may have gotten a little bit of help from behind him to push him up into that second place car. Keep in mind, it's hard to see, especially if you're like the third or fourth car back, and you always want to, take that preparation, that caution to not push too much, especially if you're far back in the line of things. This looks like one of those situations where you had a bunch of cars in the same space at the same time, all trying to occupy the same spot. I didn't see anyone jump out of line. It was just one of those situations where you get close and sometimes the vehicle just sucks down into you.
Yeah, it looks like the 23 and 16 were trying to cut down. They thought they had cleared them, and unfortunately, they just had probably another foot. They would have been able to clear it.
All right, folks, this has been some great racing action here on LSRTV. We're going to take a quick commercial break as our folks go into the pits, and as soon as we get back, we're going to have a live update from Justin in the pits and let you know what happened during the commercial break.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Ladies and gentlemen, L Technologies. I'm telling you what, if you need some services, computer services, check out L Technologies. They are the place for you. Here to talk a little bit more about this is Mr. Nick. Nick, tell us what we've got.
At L Technology Group, if you have a computer problem, they are the guys to turn to. Great bunch of guys, great service. You can give them a call at 855-999-6425. Feel free to give them a call. They're open 24 hours a day. They will help speed your computer up, optimize it for iRacing, remove a virus, and secure it. With that being said, let's go ahead and turn it back over to Justin here real quick. Get us caught up with the pit strategies that happened under this caution.
Hey guys, thank you for that. Pit roads was busy was the crews. There was a lot of the guys there repairing the vehicle, the trucks that were involved in that accident there. A lot of people took gas only. I mean, we're just they may have been running a little bit short with the speeds we were running. We were green for so long. Just want to make sure you top off and have just enough to be able to make that finish. Did also notice something real quick to kind of turn your attention to it. The number 7, Logan Cochran, the guy who slid through his pit box under the green flag, actually slid through under caution, but however, because of it we're under caution, he actually was able to make up a bunch of positions. And I also noticed the 42, George Bark, he actually was able to benefit from this. Those guys were 15, 16 seconds back, and this pit stops allowed them to get up front because they were able to get in and out quicker than the leaders.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching iRacing.com Racing. iRacing, the best motorsport simulation in existence on the planet. It's right here. Go visit iRacing.com, get yourself a free trial membership, and try it out. It is spectacular. You will learn what it's like to be a race car driver from the comfort of your own home. That's right. If you're interested in seeing some more live racing action, check out LSRTV. That's right. Google it. Check out our videos on YouTube, and you will be satisfied, guaranteed. I tell you, sometimes we're better than the real thing here at LSRTV. This race, what you're watching here, is Duel number 2 in preparation for the Mrs. Dockside 500 that's happening later on this week. The action here has been fierce. It has been exciting. The very first duel we had early on tonight, we saw 0 cautions due to driver error, where he had to throw 1 caution because of technical difficulties. But this race, there's a little bit of bumping and grinding and banging going on. These guys want that $50 prize for winning this feature. I tell you, $50, that's right, you heard me, $50 to the winner of this race, but that is peanuts, folks. That is peanuts compared to what the winner of the Mrs. Dockside 500 is going to get. The winner of the Mrs. Dockside 500 will get 500 real $500, not virtual dollars, not racing credits, $500 to spend on whatever the goodness you want to spend it on. Wow. Get involved with this at prosleague.com. That's right. Check them out at www.pros-league.com. Nick, they're getting lined up again. Are we about ready to go back to green flag racing?
Tim, yes we are. We got the lights off on the pace car. Means we're going green next time by as they make their way into turn 3 and turn 4. We've got a new leader, number 23. He's out front on the inside, and outside pole of him is going to be the truck number 78. We've seen some really good racing so far. Hopefully we'll see some greater action as we wind it down here with almost 10 to go.
Justin, at this point, do I need to pit again?
No, you should be fine from here on out, unless you kind of risk. I know some of those guys who are towards the back, maybe a lap down or so, maybe trying to get that wave around, maybe to kind of stretch it, but you definitely should be good to go, especially with having a couple cautions we've had.
Okay, the pace car is in. Our flagman is at the ready as we lead it down the front stretch. Eric Rodman ready to take the field to the green flag racing, almost ready, and we are there, folks. Full throttle down the front stretch.
42's right up against the 78, giving him a nice shove out front here. We're going to see if he can clear him, getting into 1. Right now, the gloves are about to come off as time is winding down here for the $50 prize pool.
Nick in the back. We've got wrecking going on from the back 2 cars. That front stretch there. I don't see a caution yet, but there was some carnage going into turn 1.
Yes, it was, Tim. 3 wide getting into turn 1 caused that issue. Looks like the tore up 2 trucks. The 93 heavily damaged from that, and the 222 also sustained some damage. It was at the back of the pack, so we did not get a caution.
That's right, folks. When a car has an accident, if they go off of the main racing surface, the caution flag will not come out. That does look like it's a terminal crash for that vehicle there. I don't think he's going to be back and in contention for this, and that's Eric Wortley. Wow, not good for him.
Unfortunate considering how far he made it here to almost be able to compete for this prize package here, but that's what happens when you go 3 wide here and running out of room. Right now the top, it looks like almost top 8 to 9 drivers here, single file on the bottom. No one's really looking to the outside yet.
George Bark and Eric Rodman make a great team. We've seen that throughout the night already. These guys, when they get paired up, they are almost unstoppable. Proof, it's right there on the track. It's about 5 car lengths in front of that 2-car tandem behind them. They know what they're doing out there. If they can have a good transition here when they switch from leader to pusher, they might have a chance.
I'll tell you, someone to keep an eye out for is the group in the 69 and 33 trucks. They are making their way up through the field on the high side, looking really strong together, giving a good push, making their way into turn 1 as the leaders go ahead and switch, and 2nd and 4th switch as well.
Good thing you mentioned the 69 and the 33. They were actually working in warm-up together, so keep an eye on them. They may have some chemistry built up from pre-race.
Very impressive indeed as they make their way down the back stretch. We've got a couple others looking to the high side here, and they're going to make their way into turn 3. The 69 is going to run up against the 38 truck here and see what happens. A little swirly get behind him, possible some bad air. We'll see if he's able to get around him or hook up with him.
That's right, Nick. You may notice that 38 lost his drafting partner there when he tucked into the inside to get back with his preferred racing partner, and that caused him to lose a little bit of speed. So when those guys caught up with him on the outside line, they had to check up a bit, or else they would have run right over him.
Yeah, that's the problem when you start drafting and you go to switch. You get, the term is called a freight train. Everyone hooked up is going to be about 5 to 10 mile an hour faster than you when you go and get swapped out from your partner. So good heads up driving.
Right, but don't blame the 38 thinking he did something wrong there. He doesn't have a partner right now, so he's doing the right thing so he can stay with that lead pack. You got to take advantage of opportunities when they show up, especially if you don't already have a partner in the draft.
Very easy to lose the draft here, and it's very important if you want to compete to stay up with the lead pack here, as we've got, looks like the 5th place drivers going to the high side with a little bit of help from 33. Again, this is the 69 looking very strong on the high side as they make their way into turn 1.
Nick, that 33 looked like he hit a turbo button. That's Travis Brown pushing him up on the high side. They came in with a vengeance, man. That was almost like a PlayStation style with the speed they had.
They are getting it done, come down the backstretch here. It looks like they should be able to take the lead. We do have some lap traffic coming up here. We'll see what happens. Looks like the 69 did clear. The 33, however, is not clear, and we do not want to see something that happened last time that brought the caution out, so they're going to keep it on the high side as lap traffic is going to be a factor as they make their way into the tri-oval. Still on the inside, 23's got a good run pushed by the 42 as they make their way back to the start-finish line. It's going to be 3 wide getting into turn 1. We'll see how they are able to hold their line. Hopefully everyone will be able to make it through the other side safely.
Nick, as we safely negotiate some lap traffic here, I'm wondering about what's going to happen with our folks in the back of the pack that may not be in this lead group here. Justin, what's going on back there for those cars who are not in the lead group?
Well, it looks like the last few guys there, Stephen Earp, Logan Cochran, Travis McNutt, those guys are just kind of holding off, buying their time as the pack kind of looks like they're racing up a little bit and they're coming up on a lap traffic. They're going to be able to slowly catch that draft from that lead pack, and it's going to pull them up there, especially with about 8 laps to go. Coming to 7 now, they're going to really have a good run. We've seen it last race where they're about the same distance back, came flying up there and was contending for the win, so definitely look for a late move by those guys.
Is it too late to make a move at this point? I mean, we've only got 7 laps to go.
I think there's plenty of time, and the racing world is not over.
Huge wreck,
the
the leader
second lap.
Hold on there, Justin. We've got a major crash for our leaders here. Nick, what happened?
Unfortunate break. Wow, unbelievable. Going to bring up the caution with that wreck. Unfortunate. Looks like it was, they thought they were clear, tried to bring it down, and unfortunately got turned. Tough break coming down to the wire here. We'll have a replay here soon to show you.
Definitely one who's going to be able to come up from this is going to be the number 222 with Nick Giles. Got in that skirmish right there at the start on the restart. Definitely going to be able to catch back up.
Yeah, it looks like the 23 was allowing his partner 42 to cool itself down, and when the 23 came up to block the high side there, it connected with the bumper, and huge wreck. 23 end over end, upside down on his lid, tore up a lot of good trucks, and taking out the 69 in it as well.
That's right, Eric Rodman in the 23. I'm watching this replay here, and he did kind of drift up a little bit. But, folks, when you're in the cockpit driving these trucks here, if you get close enough, there's some kind of virtual suction thing that happens that draws you closer to the car that's next to you. So if you get too close, man, it draws it in. It's not like the 23 just drove up there on purpose. He didn't lose a tire. It's just when you get that close, and you can't always see in that peripheral vision, but when you drift up a little bit, sometimes you just get close enough that it sucks you in and carnage happens, just like what you saw right here on LSRTV. Nick, what do we expect next?
Well, this is definitely going to make it very interesting. The whole strategy is now going to change up. We're going to have pack racing probably now to the very end of the race. It's going to get very racy. We're going to see some very bold moves. We'll probably see 3 and 4 wide racing now, and we may even get another caution with a green-white checker. We'll see how it goes and unfolds.
Justin, if I don't have damage, is there an advantage to me pitting here before the end of this race?
If you got no damage, the best thing to do is to stay out. That clean air, especially with these guys that may have been involved. I see the 69 Dale coming down here to get some of his repairs done. I mean, it's just going to be best to stay up front because these guys are going to be a little bit off the pace. You want to be able to get with somebody who's got a clean truck. That way you guys can just push it to the win.
Man, I tell you, that's unfortunate for Eric Rodman and Dale Smiley. They both had such a great night today with just a few laps left. Getting involved in that accident, I tell you, just really, really disheartening to see things like that happen. Of course, watching the replay footage, you folks have seen the replay by now, and it wasn't necessarily someone's fault. It's hard racing. You know, in close quarters, sometimes these things happen, especially when we're going so fast down the track. It's just an unfortunate circumstance. These are professional guys, professional in sim racing. very courteous to one another. Definitely not a malicious accident here. No one did it on purpose. But definitely unfortunate for those guys having such a great night, and definitely sorry for those folks who got took out, who were doing the right things, being a little bit extra cautious. Not a good end to their night either.
Tim, I'll tell you this much. I'm looking forward to this restart. It's going to come down to just a few laps to go, and I bet you we're going to see some really intense racing as we come to less than 4 laps to go on this restart.
Nick, Justin, with just a few laps remaining, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. My $2 bet is that we use at least one of our green-white checkers. What do y'all think?
Probably very correct, if not maybe 2. The way they've been racing here, they've definitely are taking risk, drafting up a little bit. We could definitely see another 1 or 2 by the end.
I think these guys are going to calm themselves down a little bit and go on the safe side and say we'll actually be able to finish this under green. No, won't even use them. I have a good hunch these guys are going to settle their nerves. The cautions come out. You're able to take a breather, relax, be able to regather yourself, and push for it.
Justin, you're probably right. This group of guys, they're a great team, a great league of drivers here. If you're interested in becoming a part of this racing league, this racing family, please do visit them. Go online, visit www.pros-league.com. That's pros-league.com, and click on the Join Pros tab to learn more on how to become a part of this racing organization, this family of drivers. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, get together with these guys, hone your iRacing skills, and participate in this fun. Absolutely. Some great action here, great folks, great drivers here at Pros League Racing. Lights are still out on in the pace car, which means we're pacing right now. We will not be going green when they come to the checkers this time. Still getting everyone lined up, getting folks in the position they need to be in here as we get ready to go back to green flag action. Remember, this is a 57-lap heat race. 57 laps. We're on lap 53 right now. The winner of this race gets $50. That's amazing. $50 in a sim racing event. This is in preparation for the Mrs. Dockside 500, where the winner of that event will get $500. Yeah, you say, wow, I thought this was a video game. Folks, this is not a game. This is a simulation on iRacing.com. The racing is real. The prize money is real. You are watching some of the best sim racing action available on the internet, on the World Wide Web, any country, anywhere. This is it. You're seeing it right now in 1080p on LSRTV.
I'll tell you this much, the number 69 truck that was caught up in that wreck is sitting 14th. He is on the bubble to compete for the $500 payout race on Thursday. Even with a damaged truck, I know he's going to try his best to try to make to that 13th spot so he qualifies to move forward.
Justin, I noticed the lights are out on the pace car. Is there an opportunity for me to even pit anymore, or is my chance gone?
Well, lights are out. Definitely, if you were in the back of the field, if you were able to get in there before you got to the stripe, you would have had a chance to get in there, maybe top off, get some fresh rubber. The way from what I'm seeing, when the tears off when they get the windshield cleared off with the tears, a lot of rubber being laid out there on the track and being able to being shot up on the trucks. Trucks look pretty dirty, but you know what? Sometimes you just got to get the vehicles dirty just to be able to have a good race.
George Bark and Travis Brown on the front row here for our restart. 2 white trucks ready to battle it out for position. Nick, tell us what kind of deals might be going on right now in the private chat channels.
Well, deals are starting to wind down at this point. It's really, if you've had a partner, now's the time to be with them. If you don't, then you're kind of on your own. Deals will probably happen on the fly now. There's not much time left. Coming to green flag this time by. We'll have, looks like 2 to 3 laps to go here. We're going to see a lot of aggressive driving. I definitely not be surprised if we have 3 and 4 wide racing here at the end. It's great to see restarts late in the race here, get everyone bunched back up together and see how they're able to make it all play out here. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it green as Justin predicted, but you'll never know with here at Talladega.
That's right, folks. All bets are probably off at this point. We've only got a few laps remaining. There's $50 on the line. Where you finish in this race determines where you're going to start for the Mrs. Dockside 500 with $500 on the line. We're going to find out what these drivers are made of here in a few short seconds as we negotiate this final couple of laps. It's going to be great. The pace car is in. The flagman is at the ready. The drivers are slowing. They're ready to go, revving the engines. George Bark's going to lead them across the start-finish line, and we are now back to green flag action here on LSRTV. Off to a great start. George Bark getting a push by Gary Bauer down the front stretch, making that move early on, folks, jockeying for position. Nick, what is going on in turn 1?
In turn 1, we've got single file racing. Everyone dove the bottom trying to protect the inside. Everyone knows the inside's the place to be when it comes winding down here with just a few more laps, looking for who's going to partner who and then who's going to step out to the high side. Everyone has to understand that the risk of blowing up is very possible when you start pushing for multiple consecutive laps, and the fear of blowing up goes out the window when you've got $50 on the line coming down with a few laps to go.
Justin, who is your sleeper pick for this race win?
I have none. I mean, right now it looks like the 85 and the 38 are looking to be sizing them to the field real well. We're getting ready to come to 2 to go. Well, 1 to go, 2 to go actually. Sorry about that. Now you can pretty much push to the rest of the way and should be good to go. So look forward to the bumper-to-bumper action and some tandems breaking out.
This is Timothy Masters, and my money is on the 33 of Travis Brown. Nick, who do you think is going to take it home?
Tim, I think that would be an excellent choice considering he's in position, providing that the 78 is able to stay on his bumper and they get the run on the high side. They could very well find themselves in victory lane tonight. With 2 laps to go, making their way down the backstretch into turn 3, it's number 42 out in front, followed by the 27.
Nick, right now it looks like only the top 4 drivers really have a shot with only a couple of laps to go. Do you think Dylan Rowe and George Bark can catch up to that lead pack and maybe have a shot at winning this thing?
Absolutely. They're still in striking distance, hanging back, buying themselves time. White flags in the air. Now is the time to make a move if a move is going to be made. As we see them still single file, though, in turn 1, we're waiting to see it win 33. And Travis Brown will step out. Will he step out? Will he try to keep it on the inside? We'll see how it goes. The 78 is not on his bumper coming down the backstretch.
Down the backstretch, if we have a caution right now, it's not going to matter because we've already crossed the start-finish line to start that last lap. Somebody wrecks now, who cares? They're going to keep racing. This is it. They negotiate turn 3. Coming into turn 4 right now, this is for all the marbles. Who's going to make the first move? George Bark leading them out of turn 4. Oh, we see a move on the high side. Travis Brown making a move for it. I don't think he's got the push to make it as George Bark gets a great push by Gary Bauer. I think he's going to take home the W. There he goes. Great win by George Bark, the 42 car. Excellent pushing by Mr. Gary Bauer as well, working with his teammate to get him the win and the $50. Oh, and the customary wreck at the end of the race, as we've learned to see happens here at Pros League Racing.
I'll tell you, that finish, definitely a great finish. Looking back at that 85, drove it right back up, sealed that gap up, and was able to get himself, it looks like we're going to go back here and look. Yep, he got himself a top 5, finished 4th. Great job by all the drivers here, banging doors at the finish line.
Now, for our spectators here, you saw the crash at the end of the race. These folks were not mad at each other. This is kind of a thing that the Pros League drivers do, you know, kind of as a congratulations once you cross the finish line. Because, you know, iRating and safety rating doesn't count in these league races. You have your league rules, you got to follow those. But, you know, once you cross the checkers, you know, and you take that victory, it's kind of their way of congratulating each other. Just, you know, carnage at the end, you know, during turn 1 and 2. Folks, we're going to take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from our race winner and maybe a couple of other drivers as well. Stay tuned for the exclusive interview of your winner of the second duel with Mr. George Bark and possibly Mr. Gary Bauer too. We'll see what we get. You are watching LSRTV tonight.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Gary, welcome to the room. Hang tight. We're going to interview you here in just a short second.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to LSR TV. We have with us in the booth Mr. Gary Bauer, your second place finisher, and, you know, when it comes down to it, the real champion of tonight's race, the pusher behind the winner of this second duel. Gary, walk us through that last lap. What was going through your mind?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we got a real good jump on the start. Got away clear so that nobody was pressing us, so I had room in the turn to breathe a little bit. I knew if I could get back to the start-finish line there without heating it up too much, and I could push solid for 2 straight laps and get into the finish line.
Gary, great job. This is Nick up here in the booth. I wanted to let you know, great job defending your position there. Tell us, was there any concern? Were you mirror driving coming to that last corner there? Did you see the 85 get a run on you guys?
Oh yeah, I could see him get a run on us, but John and I were talking back and forth there. We were in the team speak together, and I said, John, in fact, I think said that they waited too long. I said, yeah, they did. They can't get back up here from there. But they would have came a little bit sooner. They might have nipped him out there, but they waited too long.
Gary, Justin over here in pit road. How was it going through the course of this race? I know it was 57 laps. How did your pit strategy affect putting you right there in the spot for that last stint?
Oh, I got caught up in the one wreck with I got to give the black flag guys a hard time. The 2 black flag guys tore up the front of that race. So we have this thing going. We race with them every now and then too, and they're good racers. People make mistakes. But they took out our other 2 guys we were running with, Dale Smalley and Jay Anderson. And so we kind of had to find whoever we could get our hands on. And I have a lot of experience with John where we pushed each other to wins before. So it was nice having somebody up there I was familiar with.
Now, Gary, this finish to this heat race here, this duel, is going to give you a lot of credibility as being an awesome pusher because you're the reason really that George crossed the finish line first because of your pushing abilities there. At what point in this race did you discover that you were going to be the pusher for George to win this race? When did it all kind of play out for you that you had to commit to, all right, I'm the pusher for this one?
Well, the other 3 of us made a deal that whoever won the race, we're going to split the first place prize. So, excuse me. 110 degrees here in Phoenix, and I have a cold. But anyway, I sent John a message, or George, whoever. I sent him a message. It's actually John Cordon, who got booted out of the first race, lost his connection, took George's car and raced it in that race. So that won the race. But anyway, I sent him a message. I said, 50-50, right? He said, yes. I said, okay, I'll push you to the win.
Man, and such a
Excellent
great job
job.
you did. Gary, thank you so much for visiting us up here in the booth. And hey, good luck. Good luck later on in the 500 race and the Mrs. Dockside 500. You're going to be a force to contend with.
Well, thank you very much. I'd like to give a big shout out to Kim Dolan. I think she's watching this tonight, and I am the only truck she had left in this race on the. And thank you very much, Kim. We appreciate it. And everybody, if you need anything, any real estate work over there in California coast, get hold of Kim Dolan.
That's
Thanks,
right,
guys.
Kim Dolan, the #1 listing selling agent in Ventura County, California. If you need to buy some property out there, 805-341-4495. Mrs. Dockside, also known as Kim Dolan. Thank you for your sponsorship. Coming up shortly, we'll hear from our race winner, the 42 car. Hang on tight. John Cordon, this is Timothy Masters up here in the booth. Wow, you were able to secure a ride for this race. Walk us through that last lap for you.
Well, first of all, Tim, I'd like to really thank my crew chief, Nick Giles, Agassi Chassis. And a matter of fact, the first race, my partner pushed Mark Mappett to the win with our chassis, with Agassi Chassis. So, and Gary Bowers and I, we go way back, and we're in a perfect situation with the last 3 laps, and it worked out. Everything worked out real good.
John, I guarantee you were fabulous during this second duel race, and you're going to be a force to contend with during the 500 later on this week. What is your strategy going into the 500?
Well, the strategy is to stay alive and be able to finish the race with my partner, Stephen Hagan. That's my strategy. We're going to start out at the front, and we're just going to keep on going until the end of the checkered flags.
Congrats on the amazing win, amazing race by you. I know you kind of fell back there right around the during the caution laps, the pit stops and all that stuff. What was your mindset coming off pit road and kind of being towards the back of the pack?
Justin, when I hit my pit stop, I actually went right by my pit stall. And all I could do was just pray, because I was running with Dylan Rowe at the time, and we were doing real good moving to the front. And unfortunately, I missed my pit stall.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's a driver error. Yes, that's a driver error.
John, this is Nick Lockett up here in the booth. Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the prize money and securing your spot in the big race on Thursday. Unfortunate how it went down in the first duel. You were definitely the truck to beat out there, you and your partner getting it done. Definitely want to congratulate you. Quick question here. Coming down the line, did you have a doubt or any thought of your partner maybe trying to sneak a win and maybe jump on the inside of you, or did you feel confident that he's going to stick behind you?
Now, I have no problem with my partner whatsoever. He would have pushed, and either way, Nicholas, me and my partner were solid. And if he has to push me to the win, he will. If I have to push him to the win, we will. And that's how dedicated we are as teammates.
Great teamwork again. Great job getting it done. There was trucks making a move late in the race there on the high side. Did you happen to see that in your mirror, or were you more just focusing on what's ahead of you?
No, I was just pretty much focused on what was ahead of me, because I had Gary Bauer behind me pushing me all the way, and I had no doubt that Bauer could do the job.
Well,
John,
thank you.
thank you so much for visiting with us up here in the booth. You did a fantastic job tonight. Congratulations to you and your team. Again, race fans, we have been talking about this racing league over and over and over again tonight through the first two dual races. This is prosleague.com. That's pros-league.com. If you're looking for a great group of iRacers, a good ethical racing group, they're great on the track with one another. You've seen that with the two races here tonight. And just listening to the interviews about how much they trust one another, this is a unique opportunity. Visit this racing league, prosleague.com. Click on Join Pros, fill out the information there to learn more about how you can be a part of this racing community. Thanks again, John, and congratulations on your win tonight.
Thanks, guys. Geesey Chassis, and you go, George Barks. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Boy, howdy, how about it? Look at the energy here. Thank you from all of us here at LSRTV and at prosleague.com. We're going to hear just a little bit more from Nick right now about some services that are relevant to you.
Thanks, Tim. Wanted to give a shout out to another sponsor here, L Technology Group. Great company, great bunch of guys to work with. If you ever have a computer problem, whether it's running slow or if you're infected with a virus, or if you don't even know what's going on with it, you get an error, they are the guys to turn to. They offer remote service. They're open 24 hours a day. Definitely give them a call, 855-999-6425. Any problem, any question, they're there, and they will help you out. If you're an iRacer and your computer's been acting up, or you're interested in upgrading to 3 monitors or whatever the case is, definitely contact them. Let them know you're with iRacing, and they will get you the best deal that they can find.
Folks, this is Timothy Masters, Nick Lockhart, and Justin Fight with LSRTV thanking you for joining us for tonight's racing action. Tune in later for more racing action. Have a blessed night, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Channel
Are we out?
Okay.
Oh, man, that was good.